Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show. The show that is not for entertainment purposes. And I have a quick video that we are going to play that is related directly to some of the topic for today's show. And we're going to take a look at it now, and we'll probably take a look at it again a little bit later. Here we go. When a target is marked by a designator, the beam is invisible, typically in the infrared range, and does not shine continuously. Instead, a series of coded laser pulses are fired at the target. These signals are reflected off the target, and they are detected by the seeker on the laser-guided munition, which steers itself towards the center of the reflected signal. Not an angel of light, aka orb. Angels of light cannot be moved. Angels of light are faster than Hellfire missiles. Angels of light cannot be targeted by radar or laser. An AGM-114 Hellfire missile travels at about Mach 1.3, roughly 995 miles per hour, or 1,600 kilometers per hour at sea level. Conclusion: the object seen flying that was supposedly hit by a Hellfire missile was not an orb. An orb is a ball of energy. A ball of energy cannot reflect light for a laser to even target it. Orbs are also, in many cases, they are angels, angels of light. This is what they look like if you do your research. Angels of light cannot be attacked by material means and damaged or killed or hurt, and neither do they deflect missiles with other pieces of shrapnel flying around. The missile would have simply been disabled and would have just fallen into the sea. My name is Daniel Alexander Cannon. Okay, guys, we just watched a video. Oops, had an echo. We just watched the video of what was shown by Congress, as opposed to progress. They call it Congress. Anyways, another rabbit hole. We just watched that video. We are going to play it again here in just a little while. Super Mike, can you or Super Dave, either one, let me know if y'all guys could hear the audio for that video? I'm just curious for my own reasons.
It was fine. Since I was blocked out here, I actually muted here and was listening on YouTube. It was fine there.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. I was just making sure. So, let's talk about this a little bit, and we can watch the video as well, like this. And I have it right here. Let me pull it up here. Okay, so we can watch it here again as well, and slow it down and kind of talk about the different segments of it. And
you want to discuss where it came from to begin with, how it all came about.
Well, supposedly,
we've had a few in the comments asking what it was.
You got the details? Go ahead, or I can do it.
Well, yesterday there was a congressional hearing. There has been a committee that was selected since the new administration was in to further investigate UAPs and give us an explanation of what these things were we were seeing up here, because the public wanted to know.
Right.
So the current administration selected a committee. One of them is this Congressman Lady Luna. Anyway, she was in charge of part of this on the committee. So they had the hearing of the things that they had found and the witnesses with testimony that they had found in front of Congress yesterday. And this is all to show, this is part of a program that was to show that Congress is supposed to have the oversight on the money that our DOD and everybody is spending, but where's the money going? Because y'all don't even know it's going here. So that's kind of what led to this. And in this proportion, it's come up on the UAP drone orb thing. This was information that was brought about yesterday from some people, whistleblowers, military people, career Navy, whatever. They were talking about experiences with the different types of lights, objects. There's actually a couple of videos, but this was the main one.
Right. Thank you, Roxy. So they showed the video and put it up on YouTube Live and all that with supposedly the Congress Oversight Committee. And
well, I don't think this video was meant to be seen by the general public yet. Fox News was evidently covering it, and as soon as they figured out what had just been showed, they cut the feed for a second, and by that time it was too late. It was already out. Whether that was planned or not, I don't know. Just saying happened.
I would, well, I'm suspicious. Okay.
I'm suspicious of everything.
So my guess is it was planned. Real quick, I want to thank Roxy for being here, Miss Kim for being here. Always thank Shannon, even though she wasn't able to be here today. And thank you to Super Dave and Super Mike for being here as well in the comments. Thank you for everybody being here. Now, I went through this video and I've been thinking about it quite a bit and analyzing the different parts of it. And we can just kind of move forward here. I want to explain a few things a little bit more in detail. Okay, what you're looking at is a recorded screen from a drone, a Reaper drone, is what they're claiming. First off, you can't believe, in my opinion, when we're dealing with known liars that have lied to us, about everything and have talked many people into killing themselves through needles. And they've done so many other deceitful things over the years. We're dealing with known liars, so I have a hard time believing anything that comes out of Congress or the media or anything like that. So there's my disclaimer. But we're going to look at it, and we're going to assume that the footage is from a drone. And according to what we're seeing here, it is from a LRD Lays desk. And if you noticed in the video itself, I explained exactly what that is. I'll show it here. So it's laser rangefinder designator. What it is this is a instead of radar tracking the object, it's using a laser. That laser, as I'll read it here again, when a target is marked by a designator, meaning the laser, the beam is invisible, typically in the infrared range, and does not shine continuously. It instead a series of coded laser pulses, and its repeated pulses are fired at the target. These signals are reflected off of the target, and they are detected by the seeker on the laser guided munition. So the Hellfire itself is basically having to see that laser being reflected off of, and what they're saying is an orb. Okay. An orb is, and this is my opinion, but I have a lot of reasons, hundreds of reasons, why I say they are simply a real orb, and what I would call it is an angel of light. Okay. And there are things out there flying around the skies that may look like an orb, may act kind of like an orb, but it's back engineered technology in order to look like an orb. Now they're claiming this was an orb, okay? And they're claiming that, the missile came in and hit the orb. I want you to notice something. Let's go to the beginning over here. Kind of the beginning anyways. See where we at. Here we go. Let's play this, and let me turn the sound off.
I got a viewer that said Charlie Kirk was just in Utah. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Somebody said Charlie Kirk was just pew-pewed.
Who's Charlie Kirk? Oh,
Charlie Kirk is a big-time proponent of common sense.
Okay. Not that familiar, but
he goes around to college campuses and he debates about this transgender and liberalism and this woke agenda and how they're just causing all these kids to have. Anyway, he's very smart. Somebody just said he was.
Okay. All right. Well, we might check into that later. Okay. So
I'm researching.
Let's watch this little bit of this video, and I'll probably stop it here in just a minute. Oh, I'm hearing. All right, let's get Shannon in the house because she is here, and then we'll move ahead with what we're doing here. Hello, Miss Shannon. We'll have you on screen here in just a moment. Thank you for showing up. I didn't know that you would be available or not to get here. Thank you for showing up. We were just thanking you anyways earlier. All right. Give me there you go. All right. We are good to go now. And so we're reviewing the video footage from the Hellfire missile and the orb. I imagine you're familiar, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're reviewing that, and we're just getting kind of started on it, and we're going to discuss it. So I just kind of hit play, backed up slightly, and we're watching it here now. And of course, they said there are two drones. One drone is laying the laser target, and a different drone fired the Hellfire. And the X that you see on top of this, what looks like a point of light, kind of like an orb, the X is holding that target. It is It works off of a reflection. The Hellfire missile that comes in has to be able to see the light from the laser glancing coming off of the target in order to find the target. So it has to be something that will reflect light. An orb will not reflect light. They want us to think it's a UFO or something like that to do with the orbs. In my opinion, it's not. But that doesn't mean anyone here can't have a different opinion, and you can express it. I'm not interested in a room full of yes men or yes women. I'm interested in finding the truth, and I'm willing to reconsider all of my positions, just to make it clear. So here we go. Now, I got a lot of thoughts, but one is...
I just finished listening to...
One is, how does a Hellfire missile hit something and bounce off of it, one, without exploding into many, many pieces? I've looked into the trigger mechanisms that they have on the Hellfires, and they supposedly have two types. One is it has to make contact with something, which it obviously made contact, which we're going to look at a lot closer here in just a minute. And the Hellfire should have exploded because it made contact with something. But they're saying it glanced off, like there was a force field or something. But then we also see, well, let me go back. There are two types. One is that it has to make contact. The other type is that it senses the distance to the target and explodes upon narrowing that distance to just a few feet. But that's more like normally for anti-personnel. When they're wanting to cause collateral damage, they will use that type of explosion system. And then when they don't want to cause a lot of collateral, they will use the kind that has to make contact with something. And they call it a ninja missile or something like that. And because it has spinning blades on it, when it goes in and makes contact, it has a set of spinning blades that deploy and it explodes and puts out a bunch of blades basically at the same time. That don't sound much better than the other, but anyways, that's what they say. Now, I notice, and we all notice, of course, that there are what looks like three pieces of something that come off of this whatever this thing is, because this is not an orb of light, a plasma orb, or what I call an angel. This is not what that is, because one, the Hellfire would have just went straight through it. And when it touched the angel, in my opinion, based on other videos we've all seen, it would have just disabled the missile. It would have scrambled the electronics in it, and then it would have just fell into the ocean. But it made contact. You can see that it makes contact because it moves. Watch.
Yeah, it wobbles it.
Yep, bam. See, it was here, and it knocked it out of center, and then there's three pieces of something that is coming along there with it. Now, I'm just going to theorize here for a second. Do you remember Terminator, like 3 or 4?
Metal Man?
Liquid
That
Metal
was
Man.
2.
Yeah, Liquid Metal Man.
The Liquid Metal Man, that was number 2.
Was that number 2? Okay.
Yep.
Liquid Metal Man. Why? Well, it's my experience, and y'all guys can express what your thoughts are on this, but it's my experience when they show us things in the movie, it means they pretty much got it already. And it may not be a metal man, but it may be a metal, some kind of, almost like a highly energized nanobot thing that can separate, and then it will bring itself back together again. Basically, somewhat like it was shown in Terminator 2, like Shannon's saying there. And I'm not saying that's
like
what
graphene oxide.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what this craft was made out of, But let's see here. Let me move it forward where I zoom in again. I think this is a little bit tighter zoom. Let's play forward here. It'll go into the next footage here. Boom. You actually see 4 pieces of something chasing it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, normal debris, let's think about this critically. Normal debris off of something that is smaller, that has less mass, should decelerate much quicker than the larger object that has all the mass. It should, but it doesn't.
It almost appears like it tumbles when it's spinning.
Yeah,
okay.
It
And I want
definitely
you to,
tumbled.
You and I haven't had a chance to really look at this and break it down together.
Uh-huh.
But you know the 3
That's why we're doing it now, because if we do it off air, it ain't no good. Go ahead.
Okay, well, look, when the 3 giblets pop up.
4 giblets, but yeah, mainly 3.
That's what I'm fixing to say. There's a 4th, but the 3, originally, they make a triangle. Then 2 moves over to the side, and you can then see the 4th one, which appears and disappears, which would almost assume to me that it is under the water. Just
this is right above the water. You can see the waves even below and stuff.
But if that 4th one, which you see right there, is dull, but you'll see it and you won't see it, which is almost like it's under the water.
Right.
If that 4th giblet is under the water and traveling at the same speed as that stuff above the water, that's a whole new mathematical equation you got to work in.
Right. That's an interesting observation, because it is very close to the water. I don't know how close.
I see it appear and disappear, but the others stay in sight, which tells me something's coming between my line of sight and number 4. So see when you see the cap of the wave, that one disappears. So either it's in the cap of the wave or it's up under the cap of that wave, but it's still traveling at the same speed as the others with something interfering with our line of sight.
Yeah.
So that bad boy it's auto-correcting instantaneously to stay at the same speed as the others.
Yeah.
Even though there's a greater force of water or resistance on it.
The larger object should be leaving behind the smaller objects. And it's not. And yeah, I get what you're saying about this. And yeah, that makes sense. It's very, very, very interesting. There's the 4th object that shows up about there. Let's back this up a little bit. Okay, here we are. Here's the missile over here to the left. Got one drone tracking the object with a laser, which can only track something that is of some type of material. It can't track light. Light can't bounce off of light. Light don't reflect light. It doesn't exactly work like that. Not with lasers especially. So let's watch again in slow motion. You see that one piece right there is accelerating slightly quicker than the other 3 pieces.
Right.
It like literally come up and passed. Watch it. One in
number 4.
Yeah, the one that was in the rear. The one that's in the rear comes up and actually passes the other 2. Then the one that was below the water or lower, or how was it invisible and then shows up now? There it is right there showing up. And it even looks like...
See, that white that you're seeing, it's the cap of the wave or the whatever on the sea, and it disappears behind it. So is it still traveling at an identical rate of speed, yet got a greater force against it? All of that's traveling at pretty near the same speed, and it's booking it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Hellfire, like I say, was traveling. Let's look at the Hellfire compared, the speed of the Hellfire compared to this object. It'll be coming up in a second.
The Hellfire comes in from the side, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
At a right angle.
Come on. There we go. And that's at full speed, basically, there. The Hellfire looks like it's traveling at, it is coming in from the side, so it's intersecting, so it's a little deceptive. And
that's what I'm saying. If they had to come at that, they've got a drone in front of it, got a Hellfire missile coming from another direction. So you had to use this drone to target and something else to shoot the missile, but you had to come at it from a side angle. Could you not keep up with it in its direction of travel? Did you have to cross seed it because your 1.5 Mach wasn't gonna see? They don't give us the actual speed of what this object's supposed to be traveling, so I can't do my math.
Right. Yeah, and they didn't give us the full video where you could see all of the numbers off the edge of the screen. They didn't give us all the information. You know, I believe for sure there's deception going on here. But I'm curious as to what this object actually was. Is this, were they, you might say, showing off one of their new tech devices? You know, like the Metal Man from Terminator 2, like we were talking about. Is that what we're looking at? Because these pieces, they're smaller. They should have fallen back in this chase, because I don't see any deceleration seem to take place here.
No, and there's some type of intelligence or attraction.
Deceleration would have took this object off to the rear, most likely, but that's actually not what really happens. Now, of course, the drone's camera has the ability, obviously, to adjust to keep up with a target that's changing directions and things. But if you're watching the ocean, that's where you can see if there's a deceleration. And I don't really see a deceleration or even direction change. I just see one object turn into force, something hit it. Hellfire, if a Hellfire hit something this hard to glance off, it should have exploded. Because you can see it moved, it hit it, glanced, and changed direction. The Hellfire did. And this changed direction too. It knocked it off course a little bit. And then you have these little pieces flying around. This looks like Metal Man or Metal Orb.
Well, and this just explains to you that all the lights we've seen in the sky, they're shooting at something, and they tell us, "Oh, we don't know what it is," you know. But you're out here shooting Hellfire missiles at it, and this is evidently quite a few years old. This was over Yemen some years back. This isn't something that actually happened yesterday.
We don't really know when it happened.
I think they were claiming that this was a few years old.
Here goes a super slow-mo of it. Let me catch where I'm at on the beginning.
But, okay, see the giblets? There has to be one of two things going on. Either there has to be some type of intelligent guidance, or there has to be some type of attraction from big object to little object. Because they stay organized, they stay close, and they stay at the same speed.
They don't dive into the ocean. They would be decelerating.
They don't fall off.
They're less weight. They would be shaped.
They're still glowing.
And then there comes that other object up from below, apparently. Maybe I can see it on my large screen here. It seems like there may be even more than one additional piece, but it's coming up there and showing itself. Let me back this up again and see if I can't get off the screen there so we can see a little bit better. white stuff you see below is supposedly the water, the white water of waves. The froth, the whiteness. Now, you would think with all the technology we have, we could actually have, this should be like clear as a bell and be able to zoom in and check the serial number on the stuff. But no.
JFK said that's a 2024 video. Yeah, it was
2024.
Yeah.
According to the liars that tell us this information, what is that over there to the left? But there at the end.
I don't know. I just saw some pixelation as well.
Oh, so I see. That's the little pixelation is what happens.
Well, that's a north.
Yeah, it's a north, so it turns into, gets pixelated right there. Okay. Let's see. Comes up next. Oh yeah, showing you that it's the laser rangefinder system and how it works. It's based on a laser hitting something and that light of the laser bouncing off. And if it's an orb of plasma or a orb of light, like an angel of light, the light would not bounce off of it, and neither would the Hellfire missile. Not to mention that none of it makes sense to be what they're saying it is, of course. And they want to make out, well, it's actually really highly technical UFO stuff from another planet, way out yonder. Yeah, I'm not down with that. You can be, anybody can be, but I cannot be down with it. I'm like everybody else. When I was a kid growing up, and I was all, yeah, that's NASA. We landed on the moon. Ooh. And there's aliens. Yeah, aliens. And then later on, I figured out that, wait a minute, why did they make the first alien movie? It was aliens that were on the moon, and they flew up and landed on the moon. And it was it was the third motion movie ever made. It was a silent movie, and it was in black and white, and they flew up and landed on the moon, and the movie looks ridiculous, but they landed on the moon, and there were aliens there that got after them. And that was the third movie, motion picture, ever made. And we all know since then there's been thousands and thousands, and then comic books and TV shows and everything you can think of. When you're doing that, and the people behind the system that is called Television or Television, that they are trying to program you because they tell you it's programming. What's in the program for today? Well, we got this cast coming together that's going to do some spell casting, and we're going to program you with believing that aliens are real. Even though we've never met one or seen one. Yeah, but what about that thing that landed in Roswell in the 50s? Yeah, what about it? We don't know anything other than what they tell us. The only way we can gain any knowledge past what they tell us is using critical thinking, which is what we're trying to do here today. So, angels of light cannot be moved. What do I mean by that? It means that, first off, you can't touch. This is my personal beliefs. You cannot touch an angel of light. If you read in the Bible, there's no one that ever touches angels. And even when they touch something like that, which was the Ark of the Covenant, they instantly died when they touched the Ark of the Covenant. And angels of light are faster than hellfire. Well, you say that, Daniel. How do you have any clue? Well, I happen to be a witness and have been a witness of angels and them showing me their speed and other capabilities for in excess of close to 15 years now. Actually longer than that, because me and Roxy seen when we were kids, but 15 years in being aware of what I'm kind of dealing with. And when I was on the mountaintops down in New Mexico, we were there for 2 weeks, First night we were there, I was staying in a little tent, and the other people were in a RV, but we were all outside, and we had these 5, 6 lights, orbs, show up above us in the night sky, right up above us. And, well, I say up above, not straight up above, off to the side a little bit. And we were all like, whoa, check that out, you know. And at that time, I didn't know exactly what they were, but I started thinking really fast. And they showed up every night. We would go out there after sunset. And where we were at, we were on top of a mountain that was probably, you might call it a big hill. It was probably 5,000, 6,000 feet. And we were up on the top. And we could see off in the distance more rolling hills, small mountains in the distance in New Mexico. And every night they would show up. The first night they showed up, right when they went to kind of disappear, one of them struck across the sky. They were all sitting there. They'll show up like bloom, 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 bloom. But one of them went like a bullet, but it left a trail of light behind it in the sky. I'm not seeing any trail of light behind this in the sky.
No.
I'm not seeing what I witnessed, and I put my hand on the Bible and swear to God, my testimony is true. Every time I have seen an angel orb, streak, there is a little streak of light left behind it. Am I right, Miss Kim?
Hey, you're right.
Witness, because she's seen them a few times too. They leave a streak. When they move quick, they leave a streak. I also seen that they can cast lightning into the ocean, or maybe wherever, but I was standing at the ocean, went to see angels. That was my intent. Go down there, standing there for 5-10 minutes. One appears in front of me over the water for about 1 or 2 seconds, and then it starts to fade, and an arc of lightning or energy or plasma struck the ocean. There was no crack like lightning. I don't think it was of that level of intensity, but there was clearly an arc that struck the ocean. They showed me that. Another time they showed me what's going on when they streak. Same exact location, another time, weeks or a month or 2 difference. And in the same spot, looking out over the ocean. I'm there to see angels. And I was kind of looking up like this. And one came from behind me, about 25 foot above my head, and struck straight out over the ocean. And you talking about speed? No Hellfire missile could ever keep up with this angel. But this is what it taught me. When it struck over me, pixie dust floated down all around me, like little sparks sparkling. Where are the tail of sparks? Where is the tail of fire? Even when they move slowly, if they're just moving, if they move, it looks like a chariot of fire. Okay, they'll have what looks like a flame that moves behind them if they're moving slowly. And when they go fast, it turns into like electric sparks.
Okay, well, we just had a viewer that had a fantastic point.
Okay, let's hear it.
It says Hellfire missiles are used for ground targets. They would have not used a Hellfire missile for an oversea moving target like that. They would have used an air-to-air missile. Hellfire missiles would be useless on an air target. That's what Alan said. So,
well,
Alan
may be right, but
that's what they're claiming.
They're claiming they use that. And when I did some research earlier on Hellfire missiles, and I'm not a missile expert, okay? I'm closer to an angel expert, but I'm not even an angel expert. But the research I did is that, yeah, they use it for definitely for ground targets and things like this, but they also use them for air to air. But he could be right, because we don't know for sure even what we're looking at.
Says heavy armor targets, and it can be used for air to air. Maybe that's why they used it, because they use it for heavy armor targets.
Maybe, yeah. We don't know. And yeah, he could be correct, because we don't know for sure what they're showing us. We're watching something that they put together, and they are deceivers. They
Yeah,
want
and
us to
sadly, this
believe,
day and time, we can't say that anything's not simulated or
yeah,
AI.
this could be AI. We don't even know. I mean, really, this is the best footage of this we've got. We've got Hellfire missiles that can do what they do. We've got drones that can do what they do, but we don't have a camera that can see.
Ain't it? Like everybody's filming with a Nokia.
Yeah.
That's because, wait a minute now, there's a little piece of software inside of your smartphone. We buy these cameras, these iPhones and Galaxies and everything else because they got these, 9 million megapixel cameras on them. So we can take these. They sell us on the fact that you need to pay $1,500 for this phone because you can take the most amazing photos. And what are you ever going to do with them? You're never going to print them. You're never going to hang them on a wall. You might post them online. But when you lose that phone or you drop it in water, the photos are gone now unless they're on a backup. But they sell you on
unless
that.
You're paying them to back it up.
Yeah. But they have smart software in there, artificial intelligence to intercept your camera and what it is pointing at and what you see. It can be proven if you take a phone in a dark room, put a flashlight on the other side of the room with it on in a smut dark room, zoom in on that flashlight. At a certain point, it will give you a fake AI generated shot of the moon.
Really?
Because it thinks you're zooming in on the moon. So at a certain point, AI takes over and gives you the picture of the moon they want you to have.
I'm going to try mine and see if it does that. Mine's not an iPhone.
I got a telescope. It will be coming out of the box tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, popping up on Google.
Yep.
But we can't be sure of what we zoom in on our phones because if we're zooming in on something that AI picks up on, they don't want us to see. It's just going to alter it anyway. If you can't see it with the eyeballs in your head, you can't believe it no more.
That's right.
I now understand them three little monkeys. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil.
Right. Yeah, and they now are AI's using, you can give it a photo and it'll turn it into a video. Like one photo from, whatever, 5-10 years ago, and you give it to, on Google even, and the AI will turn it into a video. Miss Kim did one the other day of her and her sister going out to eat, and her sister's all leaning around laughing and doing all this stuff, and it's just all fake,
Well, this is one of the important things I stress about parents not putting their children's photos online, because all they got to do is do a photo capture of your kid's face, and the next thing you know, your kid is in a smut video somewhere because their face has been AI generated.
Yep, it's that simple. People don't know what they're messing with. We really don't, and I'm included. People, I'm people too. People do not realize the depth of deception and power and evil that is embedded into all these things that they've allowed us to play with. Okay.
And trust me, this AI thing ain't as new as everybody else thinks it is. It took them 20 years to give us the internet they already had. So where you think they're at with AI?
Exactly. They're with AI to such an advanced level that you don't even have the ability to comprehend probably what it can really do. I want to point out something about this video right here. Pay attention to the Hellfire as what they claim it is, okay? Look for a trail, like an exhaust trail or whatever behind it as compared to the other object, okay? So let's play this in slow motion. You see anything there? Like it looks like to me that there's like a little bit of possible like trail.
The actual shape of the object changes.
But these are top of the line cameras. But there's like something looks like
Yeah, it's also
exhaust or
trying to film a
something.
moving object at 1.5 Mach, but
Right.
just saying. But no, the actual object, whatever this thing is that it hits, it changes shape right there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's because it's tumbling or it got knocked off course, but it appears to me, like you're saying, it appears to be liquid, like it just...
Yeah, or if it's liquid, a type of liquid. 'Cause look at all the shapes it's turning, but ultimately it goes back into just a bubble, basically.
I mean, for all we
Reorganizes
know, this
itself.
could have been a military exercise they were filming.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I suggest that the reason why the tech seems so low on the footage is intentional, because we know they have the capabilities, even with satellites and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
To literally pinpoint like a fingerprint on someone's finger.
They can read your license plate from outer space.
There's a purpose
If
to
it was
it.
in outer space.
Right. There's a purpose for them showing the world in this grainy type of footage.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot make out all of the specifics. So you can see that there's something mischievous about it.
Right. Now, there's probably some people here at the moment that have not seen the full video that we created for this. So I'm going to play it real quick for them guys one more time in case there's new people here. So everybody just hang on and we'll be right back to talk some more about it. But we're going to watch the full video in case you joined a little late. So y'all guys would mute up while this is playing. Here we go. When a target is marked by a designator, the beam is invisible, typically in the infrared range, and does not shine continuously. Instead, a series of coded laser pulses are fired at the target. These signals are reflected off the target, and they are detected by the seeker on the laser-guided munition, which steers itself towards the center of the reflected signal. Not an angel of light, aka orb. Angels of light cannot be moved. Angels of light are faster than Hellfire missiles. Angels of light cannot be targeted by radar or laser. An AGM-114 Hellfire missile travels at about Mach 1.3, roughly 995 miles per hour, or 1,600 kilometers per hour at sea level. Conclusion. The object seen flying that was supposedly hit by a Hellfire missile was not an orb. An orb is a ball of energy. A ball of energy cannot reflect light for a laser to even target it. Orbs are also, in many cases, they are angels. Angels of light. This is what they look like if you do your research. Angels of light cannot be attacked by material means and damaged or killed or hurt, and neither do they deflect missiles with other pieces of shrapnel flying around. The missile would have simply been disabled and would have just fallen into the sea. My name is Daniel Alexander Cannon, and I am the host. Okay. All right, so let me explain something here. The reason why I am bringing up the angel thing is because I think, and I could be wrong, but I think there's going to come a time when a lot of these angel orbs, a lot more of them, are going to show up in the skies. We live in a cycles, and we are nearing the end of this age. Maybe all ages, I don't know. But we're living in the end of this age. And they have recorded, documented information about previous reset periods. This is why they call this the Great Reset, World Economic Forum. So, if they know that a lot more of these angel orbs are going to be showing up, for whatever reason, that has to do with, I mean, if you want to read the Bible, you know, there's a bunch of reasons in there as to why they would be showing up in them. You know, the Bible talks about the angels coming down and falling from the sky and doing all these things, and it uses different terms to describe what ultimately is angels of light coming down. Now, what would Satan want to do? He would want them to be looked at and perceived to be an enemy. And maybe they are, in some cases, some bad angels, right? But in the cases that I've experienced, I know that the orbs, in the majority of cases I've ever experienced, they're not the bad fallen type that we have all heard about. I think that there will be good, pure angels of light doing their business that only Father knows what he has them up to. And I think there's a possibility, because I see this buildup, I think there's a possibility that there's going to come a time, kind of like back, what was it, last spring? There was a little bit more heavy activity of them being seen, filmed. We've even got footage of one of them, a drone coming and touching one of them. I could play that. And when it touched the angel, the orb, It fell out the sky. The drone just went straight down. And I think that they want us to believe the angels are aliens, that they're invading. And so that people, when they see what is actually an angel and maybe here to do good things or help, that it's an alien that's here and they're doing something bad. And it would be the perfect script if I was the devil. Because what does he do? He does everything counterfeit, in reverse, opposites. He turns something good to bad, something bad to good. I mean, how many things that are bad have they made out like they're good, and vice versa? So I think that that's what likely is getting ready to go down, is that. I don't know exactly when, but I'd say it's going to be in the next 5 years, somewhere around in there. Maybe, definitely within 8. But they're building. We can see this pace that they're doing. They'll hit the topic, and then they'll let off a little bit. Then they'll come back again, and then they let off again. And of course, we've got the comet right now that is out there. And if we run a search and look for information about the comet, let's see what I see here. In fact, I had a window pulled up with that in there. There's supposedly new information that has come out about the comet. And here it's like, and I haven't verified this yet, so I'm not going to jump into it exactly right now because I need to look more at it before I even say, hey, look at this video, what the comet's doing. I got to look more. But we know that they've been talking about the comet. A comet might be an alien craft coming from well beyonder on another grain of sand out in the outer space. They're, one way or another, they keep coming back to the alien thing, UFO alien thing. They're building. Does anybody have any clue why you would do something like that? Unless you had an agenda. Huh?
Conditioning, so it's not an all-out panic when they roll it out.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
They want you to be terrified. They don't want you to go crazy.
Mm-hmm. They want you to, I think it's called the Hegelian dialect. It's problem, reaction, solution. Problem, reaction, solution. What's the problem? There's aliens. They're everywhere. And yeah, they're going to have some crafts, some actual physical crafts, because they've got them, that are going to be flying over major cities and going to freak out the entire city. How do I know this? Because I've seen one the shape of a triangle, as big as a football field from corner to corner. Completely dead silent, floating in the sky. I get out the car, about go to film it, and the battery on my cell phone goes, gone, nothing, just dead all of a sudden. And it starts moving, it turns around, starts moving back the other direction. I run, jump back in the car, run down, get in front of it because it ain't moving fast. It's only going about 20 miles an hour. I get down and get in front of it, and I'm waiting on it to come because I can see out across this field. I got a good perception of the horizon. And all of a sudden, here it comes, sailing over the top of the trees. And I'm like, whoa, this is, it's flipping me out a little bit. It was coming at me. And probably about, 200 yards, 300 yards before it got kind of to me, it just goes, and just sailed on off. Dead silent. You couldn't, if it weren't for the fact that it had lights flashing on all three corners, we would have never seen it, because you couldn't see like panels or windows or anything like that. You could just see that it was there. You know, me and Miss Kim seen that one night, and my brother Johnny seen it another night about, I don't know, 6 months or a year before I did. And then Roxy and her daughter both seen what we think was probably one of those as well a little while back, doing that same kind of cruising around dead silent, just up above the trees a couple of 100 yards, you know. So yeah, they're going to have big crafts that are going to be seen, and they're going to be a bit trippy. So you do need to kind of condition yourself, but they're going to want us to do something, because it's problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, wait on us to react, which they pretty much already know what we're going to do, because they study us really good. And then when they get that reaction, please help us, government. Please help us, God, government. Please help us, Father, government. Does that not happen? When they brought out the whole Blue Pow back on 2020, what was the reaction? People were flipping out. What were they willing to do? Anything Daddy said. What did Daddy say? Daddy said, I want you all to go home and stay there. And if you go anywhere, you got to put a death mask on your face. And what did they do? Exactly what they were told. The whole planet. With the exception of a few people. A few of you and a few of us. We didn't play that. Homie don't play that. Need me a sock with another sock in it. Pow! Homie don't play that. If you get the inside joke. I don't know. So, and Shannon, or even Miss Kim.
Cutting out. Shannon said she's hearing the theme song playing over and over and over again on her end. Nobody on the live stream, and none of us are hearing it. Only Shannon.
Only
it's
Shannon.
on repeat. Only Shannon.
What's weird is it just now stopped. Just now.
Just stopped.
Let me
Just
go back
stopped.
to this and see if it makes it start again. Oh. Okay. Well, then that would have been me. Yeah, I don't know. It's because... Yeah, I got it. I fixed it. That was my fault. Right?
The Orange Man posted on his X account that all of the ouchie ouch things are poison. Just a simple statement.
Mhm.
All of them are poison. Don't take. Today on Ingersoll Lockwood, there are links on there that basically calls we just gonna call him Billy. Last name rhymes with hate, and calls him out for being using eugenics in this country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I think just
they're
this
throwing
country,
that
but,
at
yeah.
you, and UFOs and UAPs and
Yeah.
Hellfire missiles and military in Venezuela. And then there's other big conspiracy sites out there that are throwing out these. Okay, Shannon, you remember 2 weeks ago we talked about the trophy on the desk?
Yes.
That is now mainstream. Some of the biggest people in the world are talking about it. The movie
Interesting.
Contact, the thing on the desk, and light orbs and toroidal physics. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very
And I
interesting.
do know too that really big developments have occurred last night. I just kept seeing all over as I was driving home in the headlines that there was some kind of drone from Russia that hit Poland. And so things are pretty wacky right now, but that's kind of a big
Well,
step.
and Charlie Kirk was just
Oh,
shot,
yeah. Saw that.
and I've had reports that he's in the hospital, not critical but serious. Somebody just posted anything they heard he passed. I don't know. That's just kind of, and like yesterday, we were hearing that there were all these protests in Chicago of these Venezuelan gang members, one thing and another. I actually have in-laws that live in Chicago, so I picked up Snapchat and I zoomed in on the map looking for a hotspot. Couldn't find any video of anything like that. So we texted the in-laws. They live out of the city, but he's like, yeah, he's like, it's rough around here. He said, but I don't know about what you talking about. And I'm like, well, that's what we're seeing. So can't believe what you see.
That's true. Not in this day and age.
I mean, they're Molotov cocktailing us with
Everything.
everything, because like it's
Mhm.
just right now there's the 3-eye atlas and the UFOs and the congressional hearings
Mhm.
and like Antarctica and time travel, and it's just like bam, 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 bam. Every time you turn around, it's
To me, it's like it's trauma and intense trauma that you cannot consciously comprehend. So it is compartmentalizing you to accept the agenda that they're bringing forth out of fear and being overwhelmed and not being able to fully comprehend in your consciousness. So this constant berating of trauma and in the news and just constant, it is putting your mind in a state of acceptance of what solution they have to offer. So it's important to know these things. It's important to keep up on all of these things, but use your discernment with the Holy Spirit and what is important for you to focus on and why, and how to handle that in your conscious and to help others to see it in that way so they can understand and not be compartmentalized. It's a triggering mechanism to get people primed to accept
Yeah.
what they're spilling.
Yeah. Yeah. Good information, Shannon. I was looking real quick, and again, I can't say too much about it, but the update on like 3-eye atlas, 3-eye as in 3 pillars, which is strangely what one of the programs are called that they just came out with. Anyways, the White House and all and everything like that, the elites or whatever, whoever's running this thing at the top, because it ain't the White House. They're saying that 3-eye atlas is projecting polarized light. It's saying the light that it is emitting is polarized, meaning that it has an electric field and a magnetic field. It says light is, just looking up some definitions, light is an electromagnetic wave. It's a perturbation, just like a frequency, just like the ocean. The water doesn't actually travel from here over yonder. It actually is just causing the next molecules to move. It's a perturbation. It says both. It says there's an electrical field and a magnetic field. It says both are perpendicular to each other and to the direction the light is traveling. An unpolarized light, like sunlight or a regular lamp, the electric field vibrates randomly in all directions perpendicular to the light's motion. In polarized light, the electric field vibrates in just one preferred direction. So again, for me, just looking just at it real quick, they're trying to turn this thing into a craft, you know, and I imagine that when this happens quite often when I say these kind of things, but I imagine coming here at some point, either before it passes supposedly behind the sun, you know, using their words, because I don't really believe all this hokey pokey, but it passes behind the sun. Somewhere's in that line of time, either there or after it comes out, they're going to say it's changing course unexpectedly. And I highly suspect that's going to happen. Because, you know, if it's a mothership coming from another galaxy, you know, like the Borg has showed up, it's got to change directions and you know, maybe have an intercept course close to Earth or something like that. And yes, I realize how fantastic what I'm saying is. And I know I don't know that it's going to happen, but I suspect, and I've suspected a lot of things in the past that ended up coming true. Just like this spring, we suspected we were going to have a green-looking comet, or a comet this September that would be being seen. And lo and behold, we have a green comet, greenish color, blue-greenish color that has showed up right on cue. And anyways, so that's just a little bit. What, Miss Kim?
You even knew what they were going to say in that movie last night before.
Oh yeah, what was? Yeah, I have this way about, and I give the credit to Father for, I would just say, unlocking these capabilities within my mind. I have a way about knowing what's going to happen before it happens, and you can call that what you want. It is what it is. Yeah. So let's see. Who's got questions? Let's look at the comments. See who's got questions. Or
we have been talking about Sasquatches.
Oh,
and
maybe I should give a little update on that. But I've got.
You need to tell it. You need to tell them what was left at the front door.
Huh? Oh.
You need to tell them what it left at the front door.
Well, okay. And I've got photos of some of this stuff that I'll probably show the photos on the next show. They're right here. I mean, I technically could probably show them, but they would be on my phone and me showing you the screen like this, you know. Okay. Many of you have heard me explain that some years ago we lived in a house behind here. Miss Kim's mom and dad owned this property, and they owned the house back there. It's a double-wide manufactured home. This is an older home, about 100 years old, that we live in now. And it was given to Miss Kim. Both properties were given to Miss Kim by her father, because she's his daughter. And we lived back there some, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. We lived back there, and we were there for a few years. And while we were living there, I've explained that we started hearing smacks on the side of the house at nighttime. Most of the time it'd be nighttime. Huh?
I always heard them.
You always heard them.
Yeah.
Even before I moved there, for all time, there would start to be smacks on the side of the house. And the best we can tell, the trend seems to be in the fall around this area for whatever reason. Maybe a migration of something, I don't know. But the house is getting smacked. Even when she was a kid, and even when she had kids, they'd come hollering in there, something's hitting inside the house, mama. You know, this kind of thing. And so that went on to smacking on the side of the house. And when I moved in, there was smacking on the side of the house, and I'd run outside, and there was never nothing there. There was no tree limb. There was no pine cone. There was no nothing. No boogeyman. No Bigfoot. No nothing. Okay? But there was another time I was sitting on the porch that's on the end of the house. And I was sitting there, it was at nighttime. I'm on my laptop doing related something in my work, because I've been doing this a long time. And something smacked the side of the house right beside me, like right here. And went pow. And you could literally see the dust still kind of flying. And it was a smack, a serious smack. And I'm like, okay. Didn't scare me, surprisingly. It surprised me a little bit, but didn't scare me. I've been working on controlling my fear of things for a long time. And this was a good example of that, because I like to sit out in lightning storms and stuff. But anyway, that's another story. I go, okay, you got my attention, but what is it you want? Maybe, I don't know. So a couple other times, we had some other things going on, like cabinets slamming and stuff, and we had the sliding glass door that the bearings wore out on. It would slide open by itself and close by itself. This kind of supernatural stuff. Then another night, we come home at midnight, and there is, we're walking up this ramp to go up to the front door to go in, and all of a sudden we hear, but like with power, a lot of power and bass. And it's just, instantly, that ain't nothing you've ever heard. There ain't no animal that can do that. You know it instantly. Like, holy crap, we got something strange going on here. And we froze in our tracks. And we're standing there looking at each other with big wide eyes, me and Miss Kim. And then it did it 2 more times, right behind it. Brrr, did it again. Some people call it bellow. Some people call it howl. Okay. The Bible calls it a howl. Sator is one of the names for this entity, these beings, is a Sator. Sa, S-A, kind of like, with, you know how to spell S-A, Sa. Kind of like Saturn or Satan or Sa, the S-A. And then there's Tor. Tor is for something that moves around, a Sator. Something, whatever the Sa is supposed to mean, and then the word Tor, kind of like Taurus, something that moves around, like a hurricane or a tornado, okay? And so we heard the howls, all that, went out, did a bunch of research, realized, well, what I heard and all the things that have been going on matches the patterns and behaviors of what people like to make fun of that's called Bigfoot. And I've done, since then, I've done many years of study and trying to understand, and I've listened to thousands of testimonies from people about experiences they have had. And there's always these certain patterns, like one of them is the smacking on the house, peeping in the windows on women, smacking trees. Something should be there, but it ain't there. It disappears, vanishes. There's just a lot of these patterns, okay? A certain smell, or like really terrible, awful smell. Different things, okay? And another thing is that the pattern is breaking of trees. And even sometimes, in some cases, taking the trees, snatching them out of the ground, flip them over and stab them in the ground upside down so the roots are sticking in the air. Patterns. So, now it's been years, but I've been expecting we'd probably see some sign of maybe something going on. Well, a couple weeks ago, I started noticing, matter of fact, I was sitting back in my little shed back here, and all of a sudden, it was like something big was up in this big oak tree back there and fell out of it. All these limbs started breaking, coming down. And then all these big limbs, some of them still green, are all laying in the man's driveway that lives there now. And I noticed it. And then it happened a couple more times this is all happening within the last 30 days. Then it happened a couple more times, more limbs breaking out of the trees. Some of them individual limbs that are, say, like this big around and still green, got all the leaves, just been broke off. Okay. Well, I spoke to the gentleman that lives back there, very nice guy, and really, really nice guy. I spoke to him about it, and he was like, "Oh, no, it's just, and I didn't bring up, the words you're not supposed to. I just said, I noticed that all this was going on, and has he noticed anything else? He heard anything like smack inside the house or anything weird like that? No, nothing weird going on at this place. Okay. Well, 2 days ago, he sends me a text, and he says, you want to see something weird? Or no, strange. You want to see something strange? And I said, yeah, of course I do. I'm the host of the Supernatural Show. Of course I do. And he sends me a picture of a tree that has been a big oak tree, one that's at the bottom, it's like, let me see if I can get in the camera here. At the bottom, it's big around, at the bottom it's probably 2 foot across, something like that, somewhere in there, give or take a little bit. And up the tree, I'd say about halfway. And the tree at that point is, let's see if I can get on the camera. It's probably about like that. It's over a foot across, like 14 inches, give or take. Something somehow magically snapped that tree and took it over and hung it in the tree next door beside it. And you could say, well, maybe lightning did it. There would be burn marks. Not to mention, I have been here, and we had only gotten a little bit of rain during that period of time when it was broke the other night. And there were no lightning strikes close to here. For one, I pray and ask that there are no lightning strikes within 2 miles. But that has nothing to do with it. The fact is that if the lightning has struck 100 yards from here, I would know, because I haven't been nowhere. You see how that works? And the tree is all perfectly green, perfectly healthy. It's just something snapped it halfway up and then hung it in the tree beside it. So it's hanging down in his yard, upside down. All the green leaves and everything are there. And I went back there to take a look at it, and I said, do you have any idea what did this? I said, do you want to know maybe what possibly could have done something like this? Or has a pattern or a history of doing some things like this? And he said, yeah, we were talking, and he says, oh, and, some strange things have been going on around the house. We've had cabinet doors slamming and, just a few other strange things. And these limbs just continue to keep being busted. And they're all right in his either driveway or where he parks his vehicles. Like something's trying to send a message. And then he tells me, well, I didn't tell you, but when I first moved in back here, something took a gigantic dump in my, right there in his yard. He said there was no way it was bear poop or deer poop or any other kind of poop. He said it was human poop, but it was like a foot tall. A lot of poop is what he was trying to explain. It's a huge pile of human-looking poop that was placed in his yard. You know, if you wanted to try to get a message across to somebody saying, you know, I'm not really happy with you staying here, or anybody, because it ain't personal about him, because it happened to me while I was back there. Not the poop thing, but a lot of crazy stuff. And I ain't even telling you everything. But if you wanted to make somebody think, you know, maybe they don't like me staying here, you would take a big old crap right in their yard or on their back porch or at their front door. That would pretty much get the message across, you know, especially if you're what they are, I guess, whatever they are exactly. So yeah, so I went to the store yesterday. There's a little store, little house here, and then there's a store walking distance. I went to the store, and there's a gentleman that works there. I call him Little Jerry. And I spoke to him, and because he's, over time, I've kind of got to know him a little bit. And he's pretty intelligent, and he's got an open mind. And so I brought up the subject and kind of was telling him a little bit of what was going on. He says, yes. And then he started telling me. He said, well, told me about a few different situations. One, he said one night he was at home, and he lives about a quarter mile from here, right here where I'm at. He lives very close. He said one night when he was at home, there was some smacks on the house. Side of his trailer was getting smacked. And then the lights went out in the house. And with the smacks and the lights out, it was enough to kind of make him decide that he wanted to go to his cousin's house down the street and get away from the house for a few minutes. So he goes out, jumps in the car and starts to leave. And then the electricity, the power in the car died. Stranded him on the side of the road. So of course he's probably a little bit nervous and wondering what the heck is going on. So he says, but I'm only a quarter mile from my cousin's house, so I'm going to walk it. So he said he got out of the car and started walking, and he could hear it in the woods pacing him beside him. Just back beside him a little bit and back. And that's another pattern, well established pattern with these beings, is that they will pace you in the woods. They'll stay off just out of sight or just off your ways, and you walk, they'll walk. You stop, they'll stop. Pattern. I've heard it from hundreds of witnesses. And he also said that he's seen their eyes. He said that in this case, they were green. He said they looked like two fireflies, kind of in a way, but they weren't flying around and they were green. And, well, that's actually another pattern, is that these guys, these beings' eyes can produce light. Now, if you remember, I explained in a recent episode a little while back that the human eye actually emits light. Not enough that it's noticeable to the eye. Now, if the eye emits light on a human, it's a small amount, but go look it up, you'll see. These things, whatever they are, whether you want to call them Bigfoot, because that's an attribute. The reason why people start calling them Bigfoot is because they noticed this big footprint on the ground. So they said, okay, let's call this the Bigfoot. And of course, that same name has been kind of turned into a joke, of course. But they're not a joke. because they are real. And apparently they're back again in the fall, late summer and into the fall. For whatever reason, I don't know if they're migrating, but it's kind of seeming like that maybe. There's some type of migration. I don't know why they have to migrate, or even if they do for sure, but kind of looks maybe like that might be going on. Who here?
Well, don't even think about migration in the term of weather. Think about migration in terms of food source.
Food source. Okay.
Food source. That's why animals migrate, mainly. I mean,
Yeah.
some of them migrate due to cold conditions, but if you're a fruit-eating bird and you're in an area in the north where it's cold and there ain't gonna be no more fruit, you're gonna go south because the fruit's still blooming.
So right now, the fruit is ripe in the south. The apples, the peaches, and all that stuff is ripe and hanging on the trees, free to get. Especially if you're a giant being that has the ability to climb trees like they're nothing. You could just yank the tree out of the ground and take it with you. And apparently you can disappear and look like the Predator from the movie Predator, where you only see a glimmer. Almost like looking at water moving or something like that. You can see through the water, or you can see the tree behind it, but something's weird looking. Is the observations that I've heard many, many times of people who have seen what looks like a predator type being in the woods or up in trees. There's videos on YouTube right now where you can go and see something in the trees tearing the crap out of the trees, but you can't see.
Yeah, limbs big around as your leg.
Throwing limbs out big as your leg, chunking them out in the yard, and acting like it's mad. And it is what it is. Whether if you haven't had a personal experience, you may still believe it, but you're not a knower yet. See, I've had enough personal experience. I'm not just a believer. I'm a knower that these are real beings, real creatures, and they exist in this realm. So I was going to go back and look at the comments a little bit. I see Jackie Burns in the house, Chris B, of course, Mike Smith, and I imagine Super Dave's around somewhere. I see the Roxy Files. Roxy Files, Roxy's got a channel. That's right, Roxy has her own channel.
Your audio just went dead. I ain't heard a word you said after you put me up on screen.
Well, that'd be because I need to add my mic to these other scenes when I pull like you up or individually and stuff. Yeah, I need to do that. I'll take care of that after show. Still fine-tuning things.
RoxyPiles.com.
Yeah, RoxyPiles.com. And I see, let's see here. Watchwoman of the Dragon, good to see you again. Jackie Burns. When you started talking about Bigfoot, your video just went haywire. Been fine before that. Coincidence? Well, keywords, because you got an AI or AIs listening to everything you're saying, doing, whether you're at home, sitting on the couch, watching TV, talking to your best friend, sitting beside you, or on the phone. They're always listening if you have these devices around. They hear every word, and you can't hide from it in the same building.
Let me tell you how scary this cell phone tracking is. I watched a girl the other day who explained that when you go into Walmart and you have your smartphone on you, as long as it's got power on it and it's turned on, they can then look at everybody that come into Walmart, see what aisle you went to, where you looked at, how long you stayed there, where you wandered to, where you turned around and went back to, how long did you spend looking at the end cap displays, everything.
Right. Yep. And more. That's just the top.
Oh, yeah, and more. They're listening to your conversation all the time. But
yep. So it's not surprising that, we know that the level of truth that we explain on the Supernatural Show is at a level that causes us to receive great suppression, which is why I built the website, which is why we have Beyond the Veil. And we will be doing a lot more Beyond the Veil type episodes coming soon. We'll always be coming here and going live, but then we'll transition over to the website. So make sure you go there and have your login and password working after the show. Make sure you got it working. If you can't figure it out, you can't get it working, you can always call me, and I'll help you through it personally myself. Let's see, I've got the phone number here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull it up where y'all guys can actually
I just
see
saw
it.
a meme. It says, if you're still using toothpaste with fluoride in it, please don't talk to me.
Right?
Maybe I need to put that on a t-shirt.
Right?
If you still use toothpaste with fluoride in it, don't talk to me.
I actually don't. Here's the number. It's 843-402-8827. That is the number to The Supernatural Show. It'll ring my phone first. It'll ring for a few times. If I don't answer, it's going to roll to Miss Kim and to Roxy and Shannon. And if they don't answer, it'll ring for a little while because it's trying to get either one of us. And if nobody answers, it's going to go to a voicemail. When it goes to voicemail, either I or Miss Kim, or possibly even Roxy or Shannon, will see that, hear the voicemail, and try to respond to you if it needs responding to. But like I'm saying, get your password, your logins, and all that working, so that way, when we start doing the certain shows where we will be beyond the veil completely, meaning on the website and free to speak freely, say anything we want, okay? And y'all guys will be able to chat with us, kind of like what you do right now. Y'all guys will be able to join in with us, and it won't be like live on YouTube and live on all these places. It'll be just us, and y'all guys can come in and sit down and talk with us.
I need everybody to go subscribe to the Roxy Files on YouTube. We got to get that subscriber number up.
Say that again.
My YouTube channel on here. I need everybody to go subscribe to mine so they can catch Tuesday shows.
Yes, exactly.
I've only got like 80 subscribers so far, guys.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
Yeah, go help Roxy out. Do me a little favor and help Roxy out and subscribe to hers. Get her growth going a little bit. And yeah, she does go live here too, but she's going to be doing shows that won't be always on Logic Before Authority or the Supernatural Show platform. She'll have other shows she's doing. She'll always be part of the Supernatural Show network, but she wants to grow something as well, and try to get the message out, get the truth out to as many people as possible as well. And so go check her out. She's on YouTube, The Roxy Files. You'll find her real easy. And also go to, again, the website. Make sure you have your login and password working. So that way when we do the Beyond the Veils and all that, you'll be able to participate, okay? And I'm going to be coming out with a new, what do you want to call it? A new pricing plan, but it ain't really pricing. It's donation plan, levels plan, because I don't want anyone to get left out because they don't have the ability, because like me, I don't have much ability to sign up and do other things. That's why I've had to learn how to do everything you see going. I figured it all out and created it, and that's why the level of quality for the show has improved substantially. Yeah, we went through some trials there for a little while trying to get it all work, but I've got all that beat, as you can see, or 99% anyways. And now we're going to start making some more improvements, and one of them is being able to truly speak completely free and not being on YouTube and Facebook when we're doing it, because then all you're doing is attracting really negative attention to yourself, and we don't want to do that. But I was saying I'm rearranging the way that people can become a member of the website. One, it supports us, because trust me, if you really understood how much money I have on a monthly basis, I have total $400 coming in, maybe up to $450 sometimes. That's it. I don't have any other money coming from anywhere else unless y'all guys sign up to be a member on the website or donate something. Okay. And, it's just the way it is. But I do continue, and I will continue. I will not be defeated. And if I will not be defeated, we will not be defeated. But I do need y'all guys to support. You're going to be able to choose basically what you can afford to pay for the membership on the website. And going to be somewhat on the honor system, because I'm hoping that somebody that would sign up for the website doing what we do, that you would have honor. And that you would do what was right, whatever that is. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all guys. I'm gonna trust you. But with that being said, I do need to grow the level of support, because it's torturous to go through so many days of the month not knowing if you're gonna have another dollar tomorrow. Luckily, Father is on my side, and absolutely supernaturally amazing, I seem to be able to still make it. But there's things going on that with this level of making it, just having food to eat and keeping the lights turned on, like I've got $15 on there right now. So I got I'm thinking, okay, I can make it to Saturday, and then they won't cut them off on Saturday and Sunday. So I can make it to Monday. And so I got $15 on the lights. It's just what it is. But I'm very thankful that somehow, amazingly, Father provides. But he does it through y'all guys. So the big push is right now is to transition to the website, okay? And so that we can do most of our broadcasts there and have all the videos and access to everything there, instead of just leaving it on YouTube, where it just really just gets ignored, because once it's one day old on YouTube, it ain't good anymore. It's the way it seems to work. And I've been doing this for 15 years. I've had 4 YouTube channels terminated, had to start over 4 times. I've lost where I lived. I've lost a car that I had, because when you go from being able to make it to 0 and having to start over, you lose everything. I've lost everything I've had probably 5 times in the last 10 years. But I didn't quit, and I won't quit, because I believe in y'all guys, and I believe in Father. I believe in the truth, and we're just going to keep going. And where is Shannon at? She's been so quiet today. I'm wondering if is she breathing over there?
I'm here, yeah.
You're there. Man, you've been quiet today.
Here.
You all right?
Yes, I just, I had a very, very profound evening last night, and I'm just processing everything. So,
okay.
I do apologize for my my distance, you guys. I'm just kind of listening and taking it all in, and really just going over everything that I encountered yesterday. So,
maybe we could talk about it later if you wanted to.
Sure. I mean, it was a very lovely experience. It's just one of those things, one of those profound moments in your life when you're reflecting on your purpose and God's kingdom, and seeing the supernatural miracles of spreading God's word, and just the conviction in myself to let me just explain this for a second, just so you kind of understand why I am
We're not putting
really
you on the spot,
processing. No. But it's something that you have to realize with all of us who get up on these platforms and are putting all of our vulnerabilities out in the world to help bring people to Jesus, to help with salvation. And I have a I get very, very fearful, and I use this word, and I'm using this correctly because I'm fearful of God's wrath. I am fearful of God.
Right.
And it is important to me to express that. Take everything any of us say to the Holy Spirit and discernment, to always test those things, and to, because I feel in my being that if there is ever any words or things that have come out of my mouth that could ever cause anybody to stumble from their walk with Jesus, I feel that their blood is on my hands.
Right.
So I take what I do extremely seriously. And none of us are perfect. We all have our flaws, and they're out there to see. The internet doesn't it doesn't erase anything. It's always there. And I just want to make sure that none of my flaws, none of my misunderstandings of anything could ever cause anyone to stumble in their walk with Jesus. So
Right.
that being said, I'm in major process mode today. So if I'm a little distant, please forgive me.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Shannon. We sure love you, and we sure appreciate. I know I personally don't know. I mean, because you've been the one person when it comes to everyone out there, through the internet. You've been the one person that has always been there, so far as people that I've never met. You've been there since day one with the show, 2.5 years ago or so, something like that. And I think you're an amazing person. And yeah, we're all still learning. We're all still processing, but I agree with you in that I too take this work very, very carefully. There's so many ways I could have done things a different way that would have been wrong, that would have taken advantage. And I've suffered a lot for it. But sometimes even though there's an easier path, like we had Red Bull get a hold of us, get a hold of the show. And they wanted to, do a little sponsorship deal. Red Bull. Now, you know that they've got plenty of money, and you know that they would. I mean, I could pull up and show you the email right now, literally. But they got a hold of us, and it's like, it'd be nice to sign those kind of sponsorship deals, but then you're selling out. That's why I don't really. It's very difficult for me to find a sponsor that the product makes sense, that's righteous enough to be able to do it on here. So therefore, I cut my own throat, but I'm doing it because I'm not going to sell out. I will not sell out. And it's costly when you do it that way. That's also why I ask y'all guys, support the show.
It takes some restraint not to look into it. You do know that behind the Red Bull was a PepsiCo letter in there as well.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, I just went down the road.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with anybody. I got to sign an NDA off the rip to even have a conversation with.
Yeah. Yeah. But they know who they're coming after. And they also know, they want us to sell out because they know I'm only making $200 a month from YouTube. And I get $200 a month from like Patreon, which comes from y'all guys. And they know that I'm suffering. They have the information, the data. They can see it. So let's see. Are they ready to take the money yet? Will they bite this hook? Let's say all they got to do is, run this little 15-second commercial during the live stream, and we'll give them $1,000 a month. I will not sell out.
Trust me, I've wondered if my public perception or opinion has affected how hard I have had to fight to get nothing. And my unemployment update, guys, they declined. I get nothing. They're going to start sending me a check, but the 7+ weeks of back pay they owe me, I get nothing.
The Bible says that people that do this kind of thing will suffer because of it in this world. And I can witness it's the case. Guys,
Well,
I'm sorry.
the jobs I'm looking at are all AI derivative. AI took my job. So why would I want to go to work to teach AI how to do other people's jobs like mine?
Right.
No, thank you.
Right. Exactly. All right. Got a little ad here. We'll be right back. All right, so yeah, we got the Angel Cruise still going. A little update is that there have been enough of you to sign up that probably going to be able to do something. And you may say, well, Daniel, why are you saying you're so broke if you're going to go on a cruise? It's because the only way I get to go is if I can get a group together. Otherwise, I ain't no way I'm going on it because I don't have no money or very little over the month's period. But if I get together about 15 people, then I might be able to get to go. It's the way the travel industry works. They reward people who are able to get together a group. Simple as that. All up front, all disclosed, all truth. So if you want to check it out and you haven't yet, go to the website, TheSupernatural.Show, and click on the Angel Cruise, as you can see right here on the screen. And also check out the tinfoil hat contest. We got to start showing some more pics and stuff. I'm going to get that together. I'll try to do that by the next show. So we're going to have some more photos to start showing. It's just us having fun because we get to do that, you know. We're going to make fun of them a little bit by having a tinfoil hat contest. And there are a few little prizes, but mainly it's just for fun, okay? So go check that out. And yeah, there's a lot of things on the website to check out. And you can go on there and communicate and talk to a bunch of people. There's There are close to 1,000 members of the website. 99% of them are free. Okay. So that's part of why we're going to try to transition to a way that we can ask persons that really enjoy the work we do and appreciate the ministry and the service that we provide, because ministry means to provide a service. You understand? It's just a definition, not a religious necessarily word. But if you appreciate it, then we would ask for you to help us some little smallest way that you possibly can on like a monthly basis. So something so small you would never miss it. And that's really what we're looking for, because we're not looking to squeeze anybody at all. So check out the website. There's lots of cool stuff going on there. One of the coolest things, actually, I want to mention before we go, is where's it at? Oh, right here. The Beyond the Veil Roundtable. The Beyond the Veil Live is an area where we are live before each show. We are already on the air broadcasting on the website. You can go here and you can watch the pre-show. Did it again. See, we're live there. And you can go there and watch us even before the show for about an hour, normally, something like that. But we also have what's called Beyond the Veil Roundtable. This is a room where y'all guys can join and just come here, type in the password, because it tells you what the password is right up here. Type in the password and then enter your name. Maybe you just want to be called Super Day or Fred or the Genie or whatever it is you want. You just enter it, because this isn't a login. This is actually this is just creating the room where you can talk with anybody you want to talk with. Anyone can join you here in this room. And so when you click, whatever your name's going to be, it's going to then, let's see, hopefully it'll work right with me already on the air through using similar service. You click join a room with camera, and then it'll bring this screen up here, and you'll choose your camera, which is not going to allow me to choose mine right now. You choose your camera. It'll ask you to choose your mic, your that kind of thing, your audio, where you want sound to come out, that kind of stuff. It's not going to work for me right now because, I'm already logged in through the system. So, but y'all guys can meet your brother there and talk about what you want to. You can also meet anybody, any member of the website. You can meet them there, and y'all guys can talk just audio only, or you can talk face to face like a Zoom meeting or something like that, or like Skype. Except for that is peer-to-peer. There's no middleman server that is recording and listening to everything specifically you're saying, like Zoom or Skype. Now, probably somewhere is ultimately the internet. Anything that's on here is recorded by something. But when it comes to chat rooms, that is the most secure and private chat room you're going to find on the internet, period. Peer-to-peer. Means it's from your computer to theirs, and there's no Zoom in the middle or no Skype. Okay,